All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Good evening, one and all, and welcome back to the X Zone. My name is Rob McConnell, and for the next 2 hours, I'm your host and your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. until midnight, right here on the X Zone Broadcast Network and your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streaming at classic1220.ca, and to our newest affiliate in Midland, Michigan. Hey, everybody, that goes to that great city of Midland. And, of course, we're talking about WVEX 105.3 FM. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone at classic1220.ca is the number. And I'll tell you something, X Zone Nation. I've got somebody very special in studio tonight. We usually don't have people here in the studio. As you know, we talk to people from all over the world. But have you ever heard the expression, behind every successful man is a woman? Well, that has never been so true. That's what it is in my case. Joining me here in studio is the lovely Laura Rogers. She's also my wife, best friend, and she is the senior executive producer of all the X Zone programs and all the productions that we produce on Relmar. First of all, hey Laura, nice seeing you on this side of the glass for a change.
Nice to talk to you this way, Robbie. Thanks for having me.
No, my great pleasure. The other night I had Julia Ryan on the show, and we were talking about Julia's business. She was an entrepreneur. She's done so much with Fortune 500 companies, startup companies, but she's also how did she call herself? She called herself a medical scanner. But what really interests me about what Julia talks about are angels. And it's no surprise or nothing new that anyone who has a little child, they talk to their parents about angels. They see angels. They see invisible people. They see their best friends. And that is so true. And I remember when Belinda was a little girl, she'd walk around with 2 rolls of toilet paper telling me they were her best friends. And who was I to say, right?
Most parents squash the ideas in children.
Yes, but as you know, you and I are very liberal-minded. We believe that anything is possible. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about, I remember one of our grandsons, Calvin, when he was a little boy, was talking to us about angels. And
he had a lot of questions, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And, I think this is great when children ask questions and they're not poo-pooed, because it seems that society will allow certain fictional characters to exist with a child. But when the child comes and says, Mommy, I seen an angel, or Mommy, I saw Grandma who passed away a number of years ago, or even the children who have come forward and been proven to have the ability to regress hypnotically into a different lifetime. This is all being proved scientifically. It's being proved in medical facilities. So why do you think people foo-foo what they don't see, but children see?
Well, I think it's like most things, Robbie. We fear what we don't know. As we age, we realize all these things that could be harmful, you know. And with children as open as they are, they see things for what they truly are. They see angels. A child comes to you and says, like our grandson did, you know, how come the angel did this? And how come the angel, you know, all the angels you got in your house, Grandma? The angels don't look like that, you know. And when we asked, well, okay, baby, what does it look like? We were given a simple description of what he saw to be an angel. And I wish I was a better artist where I could actually draw it out, because it was quite remarkable. But as we age, we poo-poo these things, back to why you asked, because we can't prove it.
I think there's another reason behind what we poo-poo and what we don't. It's all a matter of money.
True. Yeah.
For example,
Big party.
Exactly, you know, like we tell children that angels aren't real, or they didn't see grandma, or whatever the case may be, but Santa Claus, whoa, let's all tell the children about Santa Claus. Why? Because people make money off of Christmas sales. Then we tell them about the occult, the supernatural. That's no good. It's scary. Except on Halloween, when we go dressed up as little demons or devils or whatever, going door to door, asking for candy. But wait a minute.
Soliciting.
Didn't Mommy tell us we shouldn't take candy from strangers?
Yeah, let's get mixed messages there.
Yeah.
Well, and Santa Claus didn't start out as a myth. I mean, he was, you know, Saint Nicholas, who gave the children toys that he had made of his own accord, his own hands, as a good deed. So we just commercialized it.
We commercialize anything we can, and we discourage anything that can't be commercialized.
Well, to a point. I like to think positively a lot of times, but you certainly make a point.
You know, when children are in school, they learn in a world of fantasy. Jack and Jill go down the hill. You've got the old lady who lives in a shoe. You've got the man who keeps his wife in a pumpkin shell. Talk about abuse. Then you've got a cow that jumps over a moon.
Do you think that's still going on, though, today?
Definitely.
In today's kids?
Definitely.
Nursery rhymes.
Definitely.
And, I don't know. I haven't seen so much of it anymore. I kind of miss the old stories that we used to tell the kids out of fun and out of play, and telling them that, you know, don't worry, it's just for fun, it's just a story.
But these stories opened up the imaginations of the children. And I think that this was one of the most important value that we used to have way back when, was we wanted our children to have an imagination. We wanted our children to know that they could be anything that they wanted to be.
Absolutely.
But now, you know, look, how many times have you and I gone into a restaurant and sat down to have supper, the two of us, and there's a family of 4 or 5 at another table, not talking, not communicating.
All of them on their cell phones?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite often, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, I'm proud to say the other day when son took me out for dinner with the 2 grandsons, I was so impressed. The grandsons were like little gentlemen, even though they're like 6 and 8. They were little gentlemen. They minded their manners. They colored in their boxes. We told jokes, and, well, juvenile jokes, but it was fun. It was warm. It was family oriented. They're just open and loving, and I like the imagination that they come up with their stories.
Because people forget it was the imagination that got us to the moon. It was the imagination that came up with all this great farm industry tools that we have. Whether you're young or old, if you come up with an idea and you're set on that idea and you want to follow the idea, you know, it's my old saying, the difference between a dream and reality is just doing it. So when people come up with the idea of farm equipment, or, you know, rocket engines, or better radio communications,
Or flying.
Exactly.
Like the Wright brothers.
Yeah.
That was a dream they'd always had. Yeah, you don't see the inventions that clearly anymore. They don't seem to come out of the woodwork like I'm going to fly. Most things, I guess, have been accomplished in the greater scheme of things. Flying, the computer generation that we have. I think I'm afraid of more change. I don't want that to progress anymore.
I think the future is bright. It's beautiful if it's not manipulated for the wrong reasons. For example, artificial intelligence.
Now, when have you ever known us to manipulate science to a negative?
Where do we start? That
Yeah.
will take more than one show.
Yes, exactly.
You know, there's so much that can be out there that I don't understand why there are still people who are hungry, why there are still people who are thirsty.
Oh, there's a
Why-
whole nother show too, honey.
Yeah, it's
You know, we shouldn't have that problem. But then we went and genetically modified all our food, finding out now it really doesn't do the trick
But
for
we had
nutrition.
But we had to. There was no other way to feed the masses. You know, unless Jesus comes down and he brings down those baskets that have endless supplies of fish in them, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I think we all need to get together. Forget any religious stigma. Forget any other thing, whether you're white, black, yellow, pink, blue, purple, whatever color, and get together. Not the politicians. Not the politicians. They screw things up. But the people who can actually make a difference, the educators.
Have you ever noticed, honey, how religion is at the base of all war? Isn't it enough to just respect each other's differences and say, you believe God is that way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's fine, you know, good for you, and I'll believe my beliefs, but shake hands, walk away, I don't know, cook dinner, make burgers. But just respect each other enough to allow the differences to just be. But all the wars, all in the name of religion, God help us.
You know, when I was a kid, I was brought up in Park Extension, and that was the multicultural area of Montreal. And we went to school with Jewish kids, Italian kids, Greek kids, Chinese kids, you name it, we were there. And you know what? We were friends.
Of course,
We
children are open.
would go to each other's homes and celebrate and learn about their holidays,
And
their
if
traditions.
I know you enjoying the multicultural differences in food,
Well, yeah. What is wrong with Mama Tatina's fish? Huh? Or Auntie Betsy's Holland dishes? There's nothing wrong with it.
no, and there's a lot more to be gained than just the food I make, but yes, if we only just opened our eyes and closed our mouths more often, we might go a lot farther.
Exo Nation, we have to take our break here. My name is Rob McConnell. My wife, Laura Rogers, is our special guest in the studio tonight. Laura is the lady behind Relmar McConnell Media Company. She's also the senior executive producer of all our productions, radio, TV, and publishing. Great having her here so she can see what we do here at night. And we'll be back as the X Zone continues from our studios and corporate offices in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network and on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streaming on around the world on classic1220.ca. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@classic1220.ca is the magic address. And by the way, the X Chronicles newspaper is still available at www.xchronicles.net. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man song.
He's the man. He's the man.
I don't take no crap from anybody else but you. I wear the pants around here when I finish with your laundry. Cause I'm a guy you don't want to fight. When I say jump, you say yeah right. I'm the man of this house until you get home.
He's the man. He's the man.
What I say goes around here, right out the window. And I don't want to hear a lot of whining, so I'll shut up. The sooner you learn who's boss around here, the sooner you can give me my orders, dear. Because I'm head honcho around here, but it's all in my head.
He's the man. He's the man.
And I can have sex anytime that you want. Because I'm a man who has needs, but they're not that important. And don't expect any flowers from me, because if I'm not mistaken, you prefer jewelry. I'm the king of my castle when you're not around.
He's the man. He's the man.
And I'll drink and watch sports whenever I want to get in trouble. And I'll come home when I'm good and ready to sleep on the couch. Cause a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do, and I'm gonna do what you tell me to, because I'm top dog around here, but I've been neutered.
He's the man. He's the man. You the man.
You a man, Papa.
And welcome back. Hey, what are you laughing about, Laura?
I just love that song.
Yeah.
What does our grandson Cole say? You the man, Papa.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
All the time.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. I'm Rob McConnell. My wife Laura is with us tonight, and we're going to be going down memory lane because since COVID, that horrible affair that we all went through, there have been more podcasts that have sprung up than ever before in history. Everyone who has a microphone, who has a camera, they can have their own podcast. And they now, even Costco is selling podcast kits. You've got the earphones, the microphone, and the whatever you needed. And you know what? I get offended because a lot of professionals out there spend years and years and years and years not only in colleges learning radio and broadcasting like over here at Niagara College, but they start at the bottom of the stations, usually interning for about 6 months. Most of them don't get paid for anything, and then when they do get an on-air shift, it's the crappiest shift, and they get the lowest amount of money. And then they work their way up. And then to see companies like Bell Canada let go 4,800 professionals.
Wow.
After they left a couple more thousand go last year. And what is happening now? Well, you've got all the podcasters who are online. There's a lot of good stuff out there, believe me. But there's also a lot of crap. And what it's doing is congesting the different platforms like Rumble, like YouTube, and all the other platforms that are out there. So there's even now professional broadcasters who got let go from Bell Canada who are starting their own podcast, and they're trying to come back with this new technology.
Now, Rob, I hate to quote Trump, but I'm going to. Is this anything like fake news, too, that when you listen to some of these podcasts, like, are you hearing hardcore evidence of what they're saying?
Oh, hell no.
Okay, so...
In fact, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of these podcasts now are being done by artificial intelligence.
Seriously?
Seriously.
I did not know that.
Yeah. There are AI packages out there where you read a script in your voice, and you can select the voice that you would like to be. That's what happened with Joe Rogan a couple of months ago when he had our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, on his show. Justin Trudeau wasn't on the show. It was artificial intelligence.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he had his AI say whatever he wanted.
Exactly.
To sound like the... Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And then with AI...
That could cause an awful lot of trouble, I would think.
It can, and it is, especially the fake news, because there's no way to validate what comes on.
Yes, I can see that causing so much trouble. Don't we deserve to have authentic, true information that when we plug in or turn on?
Oh, yes.
I look forward to tuning in and learning something. I don't want to be deceived again. How do we get around that?
We need to get back to the old age of journalism, where you had professionals who actually did the research, who weren't armchair reporters, who just scoured the internet for stories.
And they're selective, too, yeah. I'm finding. If they're paid enough, they will omit a story. I've learned that firsthand. We've seen here in our own neighborhood where there's a story that should be told and it's hush-hushed because it isn't good for somebody in power.
That's right.
Let's just do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be able to learn the facts. That's what our news and our announcers and the credibility should be behind.
That's right. I agree. The day of Dan Rather
Yes.
Walter Cronkite.
Yes. They're icons in the field. These people, it mattered what they said. It mattered to them what they said.
And then to throw Canadian broadcasters like Lisa LaFlamme under the bus because of her gray hair. Come on.
We don't respect age anymore for the wisdom.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
And that's a shame.
I remember what happened at one radio station where all the senior staff, all the senior reporters, all the senior on-air talent were called into an office, and they were all let go because they were earning over $40,000 a year, and you had the students coming out of the broadcast colleges that would do anything for $20,000.
Oh, yes, the 2020 crowd.
The 2020 crowd. Now, I don't blame the students.
Of course not.
I really don't. But it's all now a matter of dollars and cents to the big broadcast industries. Like
corporations, Bell.
Do you remember the other day you went to the neighbors and you picked up the newspaper?
Yes.
And you brought it in and you said, look at the size of it.
Yeah, 8 pages or something.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment. Yeah. Because it's much cheaper and easier to produce online. Now, that's got its positive and its pros.
I love
its
the
cons.
positives as far as saving our paper, saving our trees, doing the green thing. I'm all about that. But the internet is great for a lot of reasons. But you'll never get the X Chronicles incomplete form on the internet. You've got to hold that thing in your hands. That thing is amazing. I gotta do a shout out to you, Robbie. I love the magazine. Every month you put that out with your team, of course. I know, but you do 90% of the work, people. He will tell you he doesn't, but he does.
Thank you. Thank you,
welcome,
boss.
Babe. I know how hard you work.
Well, you know what?
And it's good. It's good.
One thing that we've always done here on the X-Zone or with Relmar, the X Chronicles, is we listen to our readers, we listen to our viewers, we listen to our listeners. I remember, my gosh, you and I went on various trips. We went down to Kingston Penitentiary.
Oh, our road trips.
Our road trips.
Were a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then we went to the old city jail in Ottawa. Yep. Where they had the last hanging in Canada, and we spent the night in one of the cells.
Yeah, without the door locked.
Yeah, without the door locked. Let me see. We've gone down and seen, well, in 2012, we went to Mexico, to the Mayan area, and talked to the Mayans about the Mayan calendar, the end of the world, and they all laughed at us.
Yeah.
Do you remember the guy who said, where are you from? We're from Canada. Okay. On December 31st, what do you do with the old calendar? You take it down. And what do you do when the new year starts January 1st? Well, you put the old calendar up, the new calendar up. And he said, there you go. Mystery solved.
And well, I know you like to find out the truth behind things. So do I. Yeah. And, if only we could have stopped way back then and told the people, relax. Relax. The world is not ending.
No.
Don't go up and run up your credit cards.
Oh,
Don't
my
do
gosh,
it.
Yeah. And then we did...
they did, though.
Yeah. With Mike Silver and Just Like Sugar, we did a big fundraiser for the forest in Brazil.
Yes, that was fun. Buying
trees and replanting them. And let me see. Gosh, we
had a lot of fun.
Do you remember the Halloween party in Ottawa?
Oh, yes. Robbie has a following of ladies. Good thing I'm not a jealous woman. He's met some wonderful, wonderful women who have contributed a great deal to your show.
Yeah.
And they all find you very charming, as he is.
All right, I'm going to blush over here.
Yeah, I know. Well, you had me don't go in the beginning, so... Fair's fair play.
No, we've had a good time, and our listeners have made this show what it is. Without listeners, you don't have a show.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely. What would you be doing it for?
Well,
your whole idea is to find out the truth. You want to know the truth. So do I. There's been a lot of people that have come on and they try and scam you, and you get the shotgun ready. And there's been a lot of people that come on with the truth, and they have great stories to tell. I've listened to many stories and gone, a few brought to tears. And these people believe what has happened to them to be the truth. and I don't know any different, so hey, safe landing here. But to those who come on and they've got some book about Elvis is still here and reincarnated into my Aunt Betty and her dog, go poo-poo, go away. We're on a mission, right, Rob?
We are.
We got a job to do.
That's right. I remember Pastor Harry Walther coming on the show one night. We were talking about end times. And I mentioned 666, the mark of the beast. And he said, no, Rob, that's not the mark of the beast.
Really? I didn't know that
I said, what is it, Pastor? He said, WWW.
Oh, well,
No, that was nearly 30 years ago.
We don't need an interpreter for that one.
No. And we've had, let's see, we've had Edgar Mitchell on the show. We've had Lee Majors on the show. We've had, oh my gosh.
So what's your take on the afterlife, Robbie? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to go on? Do you think we'll just be nullified?
You know what?
What do you think?
I'm going to tell you what I think as soon as I get through this commercial break.
Okay.
All right, this is the X Zone. My wife Laura is my special guest this hour here in studio. Don't forget, X Zone Nation, this is hour 1 of 2 hours. And when we come back, I'll tell you my idea and my feelings about near-death, past life, reincarnation, and whatever else pops up. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell, coming to you on the X Zone Broadcast Network from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, and on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, streaming classic1220.ca.
Music maestro.
Change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A son's disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know.
And welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I'm Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network. And you're listening to us on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming around the world on classic1220.ca. Now, if you'd like to listen to any of the other great programming we have available for you on the X Zone Broadcast Network, it's streamed 724, 365. We have old-time radio classics. We have other great shows. Kevin Randall does his show called A Different Perspective. Larry Lawson does Paranormal Stakeout. And that's just a couple of the great hosts that we have. And don't take it from me. Just go to www.xzbn.net. All right, you were asking me about my take on the afterlife.
I was. But before I miss my mark there, I got to say, that song by Michael Jackson, that leaves a good taste in your mouth, doesn't it? Everybody can make such a positive difference.
You know, I remember the first time you and I were talking, and I forget who the guest was, and you were after the show, you told me, all they have to do is look in the mirror. The answer is there.
That's right.
And every time that I have a guest that we can use that to, I play that song and I credit you with it.
Wow. Robbie, I truly believe in my heart of hearts that we all have something to offer.
Yep.
And sometimes we got to dig deep and find out what it is, but it's relevant. It matters. You have something to offer. You're an important part
Yep.
of this universe. You're an important person in our world. All of us. We all matter. It's not white lives matter, black lives matter. It's human lives matter, animal lives matter. We all are integrated.
Yeah. In fact, we have a full page ad in every edition of the X Chronicles that says all lives matter.
Exactly,
Yeah.
babe. You know how to put it out there.
Yeah. We were talking about...
What your take was on the afterlife, honey. I wanted to know.
it's changed over the years.
It does, doesn't it?
It's changed over the years. Speaking to the number of people that I have a great privilege of talking to. And
information, it's the key,
information. It's true. Dr. Janet M. Matuzio.
right? Love her.
You know, she's an ER surgeon,
Yeah.
and she has heard so many stories
Forensic pathologist too, wasn't
That's
she?
right, yeah.
Totally credible.
Yeah. And she was telling us about people who come back that have nearly been lost on the table and talk about their experience on the other side. And then I've listened to people like Georgina Cannon.
Love her too.
She does past life regression. And
Can I do a shout out to Georgie? I love Georgina.
yeah, she is a great lady.
She is. She's got another one with heart of gold.
You know what? That's the way most of my guests are.
Yes, I know. I know. That's why you draw these women to you, because you're of like mind and like heart.
Oh,
Well, I think that's why you drew me to you, isn't it?
well, that's another show.
He's cheeky, I tell you. Georgina.
Georgina. Okay, thank you. When Georgina regresses people, and when, let me see, Mark Anthony, he's a medium. We've had Michael Telstar on. We've had all these great people who are well known, including Julie Ryan.
They all shape how you think
Not
the
only
afterlife might be.
not only that, but the people who have the afterlife experiences, the stories all sound the same.
There is a common thread, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah.
There certainly is. No matter if you're Jewish, if you're Hindu, if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, if you're Catholic,
Well, do
it
you
doesn't
think
matter.
the spirit knows any different? Our inner spirit. Do you think, like, our body dies, no big deal? You know my feelings on that. I think
Yeah.
it's just like an eggshell. We lose the eggshell, but our spirit goes on. Do you agree? What's your take on that?
Well, I agree. In fact, Einstein said that energy can't be destroyed.
Yes,
Right? And
that's-
if our soul is energy, which I believe it is now, then it's also changed my mind on reincarnation.
I don't know how I feel about that. Share
Okay.
with me.
When there are children who, at a certain age, start talking about a different life, a different place, or they were a pilot on a certain plane in World War II, their name was such and such, and these facts are verified, and the child could not know any other way.
That's like some of these children speaking different languages out of the blue.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've heard a couple stories, and well, I remember thinking one that this child was just so smart, so clever.
Prodigies.
Yes,
Yeah.
prodigies for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a good way to explain it.
And I think these star seeds or star children that are being recognized are just children who have had another experience. Now, there are those who talk about past life regression who say that you not only return to this place, but you can also return to another dimension. You can also return to another planet, another universe.
Now, wouldn't that be nice if you could choose where you wanted to go and how you wanted to be?
But apparently, now you and I were reading a book this afternoon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, where it said that the child actually picks his parents and, comes down with a life plan.
Now, I can't agree with that. I can't, because I've seen so many little children be put into situations,
Yeah.
unless they're part masochist, to be put into certain situations that to me are just deplorable, and the parents shouldn't have children. So I don't know. Do you think maybe the spirit itself knows that it needs to experience this, possibly?
I believe so. I believe so.
I
And
don't
look
know
at.
about that for me.
Let me use a personal example here,
Okay.
and one that's close to you as well.
Okay.
When one of our little granddaughters didn't make it,
Emma.
yeah,
I
she
know
didn't.
Emma.
She didn't make it.
Right.
I felt so bad, and you did, and it was horrific for us.
Well, it was for the whole family.
But
I mean,
I remember talking to somebody, and they said, well, God had other plans.
I'm sure we're not alone in those kinds of losses, you know.
Exactly.
So,
And I remember you coming home. You worked in the palliative unit of a major hospital for a number of years.
right.
And I remember you telling me about what happened at a time of passing with people, that they would see their relatives would come and get them. And tell us about that.
Well, there were many a time I was blessed with the opportunity to be there for them, and sometimes they didn't want family. Some of my people, my patients, didn't want family around, and they would wait till the family would leave, and they would start, I was important to them for quite a period of time, and then it became, they were further engaged with the other side. And I saw, not that I took it personally, I didn't at all, but I didn't matter anymore, because they were transcending, if you can understand with me. They were spending more time on the other side than they were here. And you knew, I mean, only God knows for sure, but you knew that their time was coming close, by the way that I was losing them. And I don't mean that physically.
Right.
I mean that spiritually. They were spending more time with their loved ones on the other side. Many times when they were still between and spent time with me, I would hear my husband and the people that they loved the most, they always saw them. And that gave me great comfort in the ability to let go, knowing that I was returning them somehow, that I played this small part anyways, that they didn't leave alone, they weren't there alone, they got to go to the loved ones, and I was there to see them off and wish them well and wave goodbye and shed a tear, because I knew I would miss them.
I couldn't do that job. I really couldn't.
Well,
I've always admired you, and for many reasons, but that's one of them.
I think,
Because you're so compassionate. You're very empathetic.
yeah, it's not always a good thing, but I was very fortunate to spend that time with so many people like that. The hardest one are always the young ones, because they don't always know where they're going, and they don't always recognize the faces that are there. But it's I've never seen a horrible passing. I'll say that. No, never. And there's a feeling, Robbie, there's a feeling of, when I'm sitting there holding this person's hand, no matter what age, there's a feeling of, and they're gone.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. I can't describe it, that people would actually, it's very hard to describe, but you know it. If you've ever sat with someone at the end stage and you've loved them, or even just generally cared, you'll feel that pass. You'll feel that energy seep away. And it's not a bad thing.
No.
Not at all.
Because they're not in pain any longer.
Oh, that's definitely one of the
Yeah.
great side effects. But I believe very much in the other side.
So do I.
And I think, it's just like being a child. You open the door, and next thing you're an adolescent and a teen parent. And these are all stages of our life. And what we don't understand, stages of our death too.
I'm going to give you my thoughts on that when we come back from this
Please.
break.
Oh, I keep interrupting. My apologies.
No. I do this to everybody, not just you. Exo Nation, my wife Laura is with us here in studio tonight, and it's great having you back. I haven't had you in studio for, 10 years, 12 years.
No way.
Yeah.
I'm not usually good behind a mic. That's your job.
Anyway, we'll be back on the other side of this short break as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, my wife Laura. And you're listening to us on the X Zone Broadcast Network from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, on the X Zone Broadcast Network, coming to you on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming classic1220.ca. Don't go away.
A sonorous disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other.
You're doing it to me and you know
It's amazing how you can speak right to my heart. Without saying a word, you can light up the dark. Try as I may, I can never explain what I hear when you don't say a thing. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me wherever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, this is a great hour. Time goes by so fast each and every night that I do this show. First of all, Laura, thank you a million for joining us tonight. It's great having you and letting you meet the growing family of the Exo Nation that you and I started 35 years ago.
I'm not that old.
Well, you started when you were 6, I think. I'm not sure. Uh-huh.
Come on. You forgot to mention who else is joining us in the studio and has been incredibly good. Connor.
No kidding.
Yes, he's sitting on my shoulder.
All right.
We have a new addition, Exo Nation. Connor, my conure. We got him as a baby from these wonderful
first
people.
of all, tell our listeners what a conure is.
A conure is a parrot. It's a
okay.
parrot bird.
Parrot bird.
Yeah, we've had many. I've had many. But this is the newest one we've had in a long time, and we got him as a baby. We finished weaning him at home, and he is just the most lovable thing. If you need a pet and you can't walk it, get a bird. But make sure you teach him not to bite. Get him early stage.
It's so funny because first thing in the morning when I wake up and I go to the home office, I pick Connor up because he's yelling at me. It's 6 o'clock. The sun's coming up. Hey, wake up, old man.
I will not be ignored.
No.
Okay, now before I cut you off
Yes.
again
Okay.
and lead into nonsense, please describe to me your thoughts and ideas on past life. I want to know.
Oh.
Personally, I really care, I'd like to know.
This is how I explain death to my children.
Our children?
Our children, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is just imagine a caterpillar, okay? A caterpillar lives a little life, and then when it's time to go, what does he do? He builds a cocoon. And in that cocoon, something very fascinating happens. The metamorphosis happens. What was once a little
I'm making faces at him.
caterpillar is now turned into a beautiful butterfly.
Right.
Life goes on. It's a transition.
Yes.
So also imagine the biggest library that you've ever been in, and each book is a life. I believe that you go from one book to the next, to the next,
I like
to
that.
the next,
I love
to the
books.
next. So this is another reason why I now do not believe that we just are turned into ashes or worm food when we die. I really believe that there's much more. And I think that our children and their children and their children will get closer to understanding. And, you know, I'm part Irish, and I think the Irish have the best way of dealing with death.
The wake.
Oh, the Irish wake.
Yeah.
They celebrate the life
Yeah.
of the person.
I like that.
You know, and do you know what the difference between an
Oh,
Irish wedding and what? No, never mind. Okay.
One less drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's how I take it. No, and I think that the wonders of life are still to be found. That we've just scratched the surface. For example, we know more about the stars and the universe than we do about the oceans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that the time will come when we'll say, oh crap, look, we did that. Look at the coral reefs that are dying.
Yeah, what do you mean the time will come? I think we're there.
But I believe in humanity. I believe that if we go back to where we were talking about earlier in the show, where we all...
We all have a job to do, and we all got to get at it.
all right,
Pitter-patter,
let
people.
me use this analogy. I love analogies. Not allergies.
No.
I believe that each one of us has a part of a jigsaw puzzle that we're born with. And that all we need to do is all of us get together around this table, take the pieces of jigsaw puzzle that we have in our pocket, put it with the others that are there, and work on it together.
And link. Yeah, I like that, Rob.
Yeah. And I really think that we will conquer these issues that we're in, and Lord knows there's enough of them. But we have to take better care of Mother Earth.
Yeah, well, look at David Attenborough, all the
Oh,
messages he left for
yeah.
us. If we only listen. There are so many, I believe you, Robbie, I believe what you say. There's so many willing to do that. But there's so few, or the other few are just destroying the planet. We're losing species at an alarming rates. Extinction rates are just sad.
Yeah.
There's a simple word for a huge problem. It's just giantly sad. I wonder if there ever was a unicorn.
Actually, we
What?
had the Wizard Oz, who is going to be having his own show on our network. He is a grand wizard, a real grand wizard.
How did I miss that one?
Whoa, jeez, hold on, honey. Hold on.
The real grand wizard, he had unicorns? And he said they were real.
History's Mysteries by Oberon Zell. Whoops. I happen to know the person who wrote the foreword myself. Oh, look, it was me. He and his wife raised unicorns.
Wow. Now, were they genetically modified unicorns with a deer or anything that could have been? Which is the one with the spiral horn? The
Ram.
no, not the ram.
Yeah, the
There
ram.
is one,
Yeah,
isn't there?
yes,
But
there
it
is.
has one spiral horn that comes out of the center, and it's
Oh, I don't know that one.
yes, it's farther up on the head. It's of the deer family. I can't think of the name of it, of course.
But anyway, getting back to Oberon, he is the Grand Wizard of the Grey School of Wizardry. And it is an accredited school. They do online courses in wizardry. But he and his wife...
Like magic?
Magic, yeah. And
I'll have to make sure I catch
paganism,
that.
and they bring in Celtic lore, the entire thing. And his unicorn...
He
One of his
seriously has a unicorn.
Seriously, because Barnum and Bailey, or the Ringling Brothers, have leased it from him.
I want to go to that place and see that.
Well, I've got pictures of it. In fact, the pictures are even in his book that I'm holding.
Okay,
up.
so hang on now.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of debunking.
Yeah.
You telling me you've gone through that book
Yeah,
and you validated this to be real.
definitely 100% legitimate.
I got to read that book. And I definitely want to catch that show.
Yeah,
Don't let me miss that one.
Oh, I won't. I
Okay.
won't. No, he's he is who he says he is.
So, audience, unicorns were once, or maybe still are, real.
Yes, they are.
Wow.
Now, the word unicorn means one horn.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, one.
Right.
Unicorn. One corn.
It reminds me of that commercial on TV. I think it's for What the heck?
It's a unicorn. It's got one corn, one cob.
Ah, yeah.
No, I'm messing
Oh,
with you.
no, hold on here. Hold on. It's bush beans.
Bush beans? What's
Right.
that got to do with unicorns?
Well, because the commercial's really great. You know, you've got these master chefs on TV, and they're making this wonderful pot of beans.
Yes.
And what they do is they take one little piece of pork, and they put one bean on top, and then they drizzle the...
Oh, yes, yes. You're making me hungry.
Yeah. Anyway, I love that commercial.
And that reminds you of unicorns.
Well, yeah, one. Because the dog says we'll need a couple million of those.
Oh, honey, you are so sweet. I love you.
Thank you. You know, I know for a fact, because I've talked to so many great people over the years. I've talked to a few wackos as well.
Say it isn't so.
Yeah. I mean, it isn't so, but it is so.
This is why he doesn't let me on with him very often, because I get him distracted and all side bent.
That too. That too.
I just wink at him, and he
Yeah.
can't remember what he was going to say.
I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Okay. I think one of the greatest things that the X-Zone has done over the years was when we were able to help the Napa State Hospital,
The Insanity Hospital, Mental Health Hospital.
Mental Health Hospital, get
Yes.
closed down, and a number of the patients released. And in fact, the Department of Justice in the United States contacted our Department of Justice here in Canada and asked us for copies of the tapes and transcriptions. And I said, sure. Wayne Morin Jr.
You know, you never think that somebody's going to be in an asylum, not at this day and age, when they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
We have so many mentally ill running around, and the hospitals are a great idea, but to impound someone of a good mental capacity,
Yeah.
how was that ever let to be?
Anyway, that to me was, to this point, the greatest service that the X-Zone Radio show has ever performed, was by being part of getting those people released, and
There's
the
quite a few,
hospital
wasn't
shut
there?
down, and charges were filed.
Mental cruelty to the max.
It was awful.
Well, I don't know. You've done quite a few things that have raised awareness, Robbie, just like sugar. The poison of that sugar really is. I can think of quite a
Aspartame,
few.
yeah.
Yeah, that you've done quite a bit there.
Anyway, my dear, it's time when we must get ready to say so long. So where's Connor now?
On my shoulder, being a
there
good,
he is.
yeah, good bird.
Yep.
He's got this beautiful long red tail. And he's called a pineapple conure, and he's just a sweet bird, isn't he, honey?
1-800-CALL-CONYER. Laura, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you
My
for all the
pleasure.
support that you've given us over the years. You
are too humble.
you're a legend.
Yeah. You are too humble.
Exo Nation, I'll be back on the other side of this break as we start hour number 2 here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And you're listening to us on your hometown radio, Classic 1220, and streaming at classic1220.ca.
You need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me wherever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all. All day long I can hear people talk